Hola, hola amigos y bienvenidos de nuevo a otro video. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre la palabra I. And yes, it is pronounced I, not hey. Okay? So you've heard it here. I should never hear it pronounced as hey. All right, so yeah, this little word here that we're going to talk about today is a pretty brief lesson, super easy to catch on to. I think you guys will appreciate that. So without further ado, let's talk about I, there is, and there are. So the single Spanish word I, as I said, pronounced like I, means there is, there are, and it also means the questions of is there or are there? Right. So, Spanish sentences with I and English sentences with there is and there are follow the exact same pattern with regard to the inclusion or the omission, which means the taking out of the definite or indefinite articles. So let's refresh really quickly what those are. I hope that we are keeping up with it. Our definite articles, of course, we have el for the singular masculine and la for the feminine singular. We have los for the plural and las for the plural over here. All of these translate to the word the, right? Now our indefinites, right, that gives us a little more liberty. We have un and una, right? So this is generally speaking, it's an indefinite amount of things. It's a or an, and I'll write that over here. And then we have the plural forms of unos, and of course we have unas here, which is our translation to some, essentially. All right, good refresher. Let's go. So the Spanish definite articles, just as we said, el, la, los, and las, guess what? They never, ever, 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 ever follow I, but guess what does? Our singular, right, indefinite articles do. So put a star by this whole sentence. Muy, muy importante, amigos. Definite articles don't follow, but the singular indefinite, they do, right? Those are the ones we want to see. All right, so let's look at some examples here. So we see a sentence. It says, hay una mochila en la clase. This tells me there is a backpack in the class, right? Another one, we have, hay un archivador en la mochila. There is a binder in the backpack. Okay, so both of those are of singular examples, right? It's a backpack, a binder. Check it out down here, though. We have hay tres carpetas en el pupitre. That tells me there are 3 folders in the student desk, essentially, right? So again, we're seeing how this can be there is and there are without any change. Super simple, amigos. Okay, so we get even luckier here because to form a question with I, we actually use the exact same order as a statement. When written, the only difference is that it carries a question mark at the beginning and the end, just as all interrogative sentences do. And that's just a simple way to say questions, right? Okay. So here we go. Let's look at a few examples. Before we read them, though, it is super important to note that it should be pronounced with a rising intonation, just like we do in English. So check this out. The first ejemplo says, ¿Hay una página en el libro? Is there a page in the book? Do you hear how we naturally in English read that as we go up towards the end? We say, is there a page in the book? We go up. Sometimes you can even go up here. That is what we mean by rising intonations. So that same pattern of speech is going to be mimicked over here in the Spanish version, right? So we say, ¿Hay una página en el libro? Is there a page in the book? The next one, ¿Hay un cuaderno azul en la casa? Is there a blue notebook in the house? Keep seeing how we naturally go up. ¿Hay una computadora blanca? Is there a white computer? You see? It's a very simple pattern, but it's really important because without these question marks, they go back to sentences. I'm going to write them exactly the same underneath. So the first one, hay una página en el libro, right? No question this time, and see the difference in how it's read. This one right here is said, hay una página en el libro. That tells me there is a page in the book. Versus over here, it's a question, right? ¿Hay una página en el libro? Is there a page in the book? So without those question marks, it's really just a statement. So in writing, there's not much difference, right? We don't have to remember much. There's no reorganization. Just include your punctuation. But when you're speaking, be sure that you do inflect so your listener won't get confused. Okay. So it says, when I is followed by a plural noun, the article is omitted. Now, this word is super important, omitted. It means taken out, essentially. Left out, dropped, forgotten. Yeah, it's just not there, right? So, and the first example here says, hay tigres en el zoológico. Or there are tigers in the zoo. Notice we do not have an indefinite article here, okay? Not happening. ¿Hay mochilas amarillas en la escuela? Are there yellow backpacks in the school? Again, no indefinite article. All right, and on to our last slide, friends. Okay, and super simple yet again. To make a sentence negative, you place no before I. So check it out. We have no hay tarea. There is no homework. No hay estudiantes aquí. There are no students here. Yeah, and that is a wrap, my friends. Like I said, short, simple, sweet, and to the point notes this time around. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do have questions over it, don't hesitate to ask. And otherwise, hope you have a really great day. Adios, amigos.